Hey everybody, it's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. Today I'm going to be making a Slimline Halloween card. If you're not sure what a Slimline card is, it is a 3.5 inch by, well, I should say 3.5 inch by 8.5 inch card. It's very popular right now, and a lot of card companies and a lot of card influencers are working with them, so I thought I would try my hand. I've done them before. I'll put a link up in the description, or up in the iCards and maybe down in the description of cards that I've done before that are Slimline cards, so that way you can see other ones that I've done. I'm talking about this enough. Let's go ahead and actually see how I put this card together. To get started today, I'm going to be using some Nina Solar White 110 pound classic crest paper. I've cut this down so that way it is a slimline card. You may be able to see the crease in the middle. It may not show up all that great on camera, but I basically have a 7-inch panel by an 8.5 inch panel, and I scored it at 3.5, so that way I have 3.5 and 3.5 to make my slimline card. I'm going to make this a vertical card. All right, that's enough information on that. You'll kind of see how this works out. Today I'm going to be using some more Halloween products. I'm going to be using the Colorado Craft Company. I always trip up over that. I'm going to be using this big and bold haunted house stamp. I'm also going to be using this. This is a stamp and also a stencil set from Tim Holtz. I don't remember which one this is. I didn't write the name down, obviously, but it has these bat stencils, which I think will be perfect for what I'm working on. And I'm also going to use some Distress ink in Wilted Violet. Let's go ahead and get these products out of the way, and we'll start in on our first step. Okay, the first thing that I did off camera was I went ahead and put a strip of blue tape down. That's to help protect the backside of my card, so that way I don't get any ink or stamping on it. So I'm going to put it into my Tim Holtz stamp platform, and I'm going to put my magnets on, and then I'm going to grab my stamp set. Okay, I found the placement of my stamped image. Since this is a very narrow and tall card, I want the image off center. If I was to center it, I don't feel like it would look right because you're missing like the ends of both sides of the house. So I want it off center, asymmetry, all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up with the door of the stamp platform. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab my Versamark ink. Oh, first of all, I should remember to do some anti-static powder tools, so that way like the oils from my hand or anything residual on the paper doesn't stick, so that way the embossing powder hopefully will only stay in the areas that I put it. I'm going to use some Versamark, oops, it stuck to my stamp. I'm going to use some Versamark ink, and I'm only going to try and ink up the side that's actually going to be applied to the paper. That may not work out exactly, but I'm going to try to do my best. Thankfully, I have it in the stamp platform, so that way if it moves, I can realign it and hopefully get the same impression. Now that I've done my stamping, I'm going to go ahead and put some Ranger fine white embossing powder onto my image, and hopefully, if I've done everything correctly, we'll get an image that will be usable. My powder's kind of chunky today for some reason. We have a little bit of humidity in the air, or I should say a lot of humidity in the air, so that may be what's going on, or my powder may be starting to go bad. Embossing powder does go bad after a period of time, but I truly think it's probably just the humidity today. Alright, there we go. As you can see, when I hold it up, it got an image. So I'm gonna go ahead and heat emboss this and get this all nice, white, and shiny. Okay, I've got my image heat embossed. You can see it nice and slick right there. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my Distress ink pad in Wilted Violet, and I'm gonna go direct to paper. Now, some people like scream whenever this happens. I am accused of doing that as well, but I can guarantee you it's gonna be a pretty cool look when it's all said and done with, because it's gonna kind of give us a distressed look, and it will, in the end, it will look really, really cool. Now that I've gotten it covered with the Distress ink, I'm gonna go ahead and buff off my embossed area here, just to make sure that it doesn't have any of that ink. And look how much it pops up against that Wilted Violet. I think this looks really, really cool, and I can't wait to do our next step, because I think that's going to make it even cooler. Okay, I've gone ahead and laid down my stencil over an open area on the front of the card. I'm gonna use some just regular water and I'm gonna spritz this. And the reason I have so many paper towels laid down is because I don't want the distress ink to react with the water except exactly where I want it to react. Does that make sense? Like, I only want it in this little spot right here. I don't want it to go super crazy. And actually, I wanna double check. I want it to come down, yeah. So I'm gonna have it come down towards right about there, I think. So that way it looks like they're kind of coming out from behind the house. I'm gonna take my water bottle sprayer and I'm just gonna hold it up over the card and I'm just gonna gently spray just a little bit of water. I don't want too much because otherwise it'll get soaking wet and that would disturb the effect. I'm hoping that this works out nicely. Cross your fingers. So now that I've sprayed it, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the paper towels, and where the water intercepted the distress ink, it should give me kind of a yeah. So I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but there are kind of like this hint of bats coming up from behind the house. I'm gonna do that again. I've kind of recentered. I know I should like record me moving it, but I've just kind of recentered where the stencil is. I'm spraying a little bit more water and then I'm lifting up the paper towels and it should give me the same effect in a little bit of a different direction. Yeah, so there are some bats over there now. You kind of have to wait a few moments for the effect to really take hold. I guess as the water dries, it like really disturbs that the ink on the page. I'm not exactly sure how it works. I tell you, Tim Holtz is magic and he creates the most amazing products. Okay, next up I have a stamp from the same stamp set that says Happy Halloween on it. I'm gonna stamp it up here in the top corner. My paper has warped a lot, so I'm using the magnets to help hold it down so that way it doesn't go anywhere while I'm stamping, hopefully, and gives me the best impression possible. What I'm gonna do is I am gonna go ahead and stamp this one with VersaFine. That way, I kind of want this in black. I feel like black is gonna stand out pretty well. But if I change my mind and want to do it in the white embossing powder, I have that option because I don't have to worry about it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but basically I won't have to worry if I do end up changing my mind and wanting to do white embossing powder instead. It will just kind of look like a shadow and I won't have to worry about it too much. See, I really like that. I think that looks really good just like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove my magnets and put on some clear embossing powder. All right guys, here's the situation. I was totally going to put embossing powder on the Happy Halloween. However, when I put the embossing powder on, it just did not stick. It was not sticking at all. And I kind of felt like, well, you know what? It doesn't really need it. It stands out pretty well on its own. And so I think I'm just gonna leave it just like that. So now what I'm doing is I have this little greeting that says from our house to yours, and I'm gonna go ahead and stamp it. Again, I'm gonna use the VersaFine ink since this is a really teeny tiny ink or stamp, so that way I can get a nice impression hopefully, and we'll be done pretty much. So it's interesting how cards kind of morph and change as you're working on them. As you can see, I was gonna do the clear heat embossing powder on the Happy Halloween. I was also going to do this greeting right here on a black strip of cardstock using the white embossing powder, but I think it works just like this, and I kind of like it the way it is. So, you know, as you're going through crafting, just remember that it's your process and you're going to create the card that works best for you. So if you have an idea and it's trying to take you another direction, sometimes follow that, because you never know exactly what you're going to create. And yes, the from is a little squished. That's partly because the paper is a little warped, and also because I put too much pressure on it as I was putting it through the stamp platform. Not a big deal though. No one's, as I say, the card police are not gonna come after you. All right, now it is time to go ahead and pull off the masking tape. It's not masking tape, but the tape masking off the backside of my card, and it bled just a little bit. It's not that big of a deal though. I don't think anyone's gonna complain about that. So there we go. I'll go ahead and fold it over on my fold line, on my score line, and there's our card. So here's how the card came out. It is a Slimline card, and it is giving me some Haunted Mansion realness vibes. I love that, and I can't wait for my recipient to get it. Slimline cards are not new, but they are definitely becoming the hot commodity right now, and I can't wait to see what other people create using a Slimline card format. I think that's going to do it for today's video. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, let YouTube know that you like my video, and then hopefully YouTube will share it across YouTube land. Also guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the bell notification icon so that way you get notified every time I post a new video or go live. You can also get social with me by checking out my social media links down in the description below. I hope everybody has a great day, and remember guys, normal's just a setting on the dryer. Bye!